So, hello everyone. Welcome to our second meeting for BASPRG2. So, today we'll be talking about vectors. Now, before I get to vectors, I just want to ask because as of now, only 9 people submitted for the previous exercise. So, I just want to check. Um, for the others who haven't submitted, uh, what is there a reason why maybe well di nyo na gets or did you need help or was the lesson too much? Is the time frame too short? Because I technically had it open until just 6 p.m. today. Kasi uh, I could I could help you more if you're having a problem, no, with Basprog 2. Yeah, we could always have some consultations if you have any questions or may di kayo nagagets, right? So we could always have a short consultation. Kahit mga 30 minutes lang, depending on how much help you need, right? You can always just ask that. There's nothing wrong naman with asking questions. So, uh, yeah, did, did any of you have a problem pa with it?
Sir, look at sa channel.
Ay, sorry. Ran your code, still uploading your repo. I think think I've checked this already. Yeah, parang na-check na kita, I think. Did you, if you submitted. But yung iba, any, so mo na ano, open up. Just wondering lang, kasi I'm all for your growth as a as a programmer. Kaya if you have a problem naman, you can always ask. So, well, ah, okay. Sige. If none, again, I just want to remind you, you can always ask questions to me. You can message me. You can message here in the channel. If you have a question about a certain thing, like, sir, how do you use um, references or something like that? Okay, there is no problem at all with asking questions. All right. So okay, that's done. Would you guys want me to discuss how to do the no? Kasi most lahat for the well, almost everyone who has submitted the exercise did quite well naman. And very minimal lang yung mga problems. Either they're missing just a reference or it's a missing check, right? Would you want me to discuss it pa? Or should we go straight to vector? Because if I'm gonna discuss it, I'm probably just gonna code it from scratch. Sige. It's not gonna take that long. I think 30 minutes of coding should be enough for this. All right. So let me just make a project. Let's call this exercise 1. And then let me open up the Dropbox. Exercise 1 here. Okay. So the player starts with 1,000 gold. The player bets gold that is not zero or greater than the current gold. AI rolls a die, rolls the two dice. The sum of the two dice will be the value of his roll. The player rolls the two dice. If the players roll a higher value, he wins the bet. If the player rolls snake eyes, which is 1-1, he receives twice the bet. If both the player and AI roll the same value, it's a draw. This is also applicable with snake eyes. The game will only end if the player loses all his gold. Okay, so with that, let's start. Player starts with 1,000 gold. So let's start muna sa main. So if gold is equal to 1,000. The player bets gold that is not zero or greater than current gold. So how do we make sure that he cannot bet more than 1,000, more than the current gold or less than zero? So we need to have some type of check. Either, so let's put the int bet here. Int bet is equal to zero first. So supposedly bet should be greater than equal to zero. Sorry, greater than zero and less than the gold. So that bet is less than gold. So bet is greater than zero and bet is less than gold. Less than or equal to, because they can give all their gold. They can bet all their gold, right? So this is one way. Another would be bet is less than sige, yun muna. This is for it should be greater than zero and less than or equal to gold. So we need somehow to loop it so that each time the player puts in a bet, we have to check first if it is within the parameter. So there are multiple ways for this. This is one way. We have a do while loop. So if you remember do while, it will do the loop first before checking, while a while loop will check first before doing the 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 loop. Okay, so I want to check first if the bet is pwede. So this one, I'll make it loop if it is not following this. So what's the complete opposite of this? If it is not following this, so bet is less than or equal to zero, or bet is greater than gold. This is the complete opposite. So if it is less than the gold, less than zero or equal to zero, I will repeat it. If it is greater than the gold, I will repeat it. So we have bet less than equal to zero or bet greater than gold. So this is my loop. Now we just have to put something here. Sorry, while. So in here, I'm gonna be checking the gold. So sin bet. Oh, let me put um, using namespace std. Okay. We can also put here a out bet. Okay. So here, what this will do loop. The player will put in a bet. If the bet is less than or equal to zero, or the bet is greater than gold, it will repeat. So this is one way. The other way, you have a while true. If the bet, so this one, if this is true, it will loop this right. But we can do the opposite here. If the bet is greater than 0 and the bet is less than or equal to gold, we can break this loop. So we do the same thing. We have count, bet, sin, bet. So that's two ways. If you want to do the do while, sure. If you want to do the while, okay lang. Mayroon kasi yung ano eh, yung if you use this right away here, that will like depend entirely on what your initial value is. So that's why I use do. In this case, we have a synth, we have to check first, and then this one, this will break the loop if it is correct. All right, questions here? Follow. So you can use either or. Next, AI roles, player also roles. So let's have like a int AI role, AI dice 1, AI dice 2, player dice 1, player dice 2. So we want to roll the dice. So let's put a random here muna. It's random. Time. Done. Okay. So in here, well, actually, I can just directly do the rand. So rand percent 6. Bakit percent 6? So a dice is made out of 6 faces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But remember, if it's percent 6 or modulo 6, that is 0 to 5. Because if the number is 6 or a multiple of 6, it will be 0 agad. Kaya nga, 0 to 5 lang to. That's why we have a plus 1. So we do this for each. 6 plus 1. I'm gonna copy paste. What? No, I'm gonna type it out. Rand percent 6, modulo 6, and then rand modulo 6 plus 1. Okay, so this will be 1 to 6 because we have plus 1. Now, player rolls 2 dice. If the player rolls a higher value, he wins. Snake eyes, dice the bet. If same value, draw. So let's put a sum. Int AI sum is equal to AI dice 1 plus AI dice 2. Int player sum is equal to player dice 1 plus player dice 2. Okay. Now what do we need? If draw, no money. If snake eyes, times 3 bet. If player is greater than AI times 2 bet. Else again, no money. So a common problem that I saw was a common problem that I saw was if snake eyes, let me just put this. If ito yung pinaka-start nila. If snake eyes times 3 bet. The next one is if player greater than AI times 2 bet. And then if draw, no money. So what problem we have here? If the player gets a snake eyes, you should check first if the enemy also has snake eyes, or else you should not be giving times 3 bet. So that's one. Yeah, you need to have additional check by here, and then you have the if draw. So that's one problem. From here, yeah, that's one problem. That's a problem for this one. Another one that I saw was on the very start, if player is greater than AI times 2 bet, if player draw times if player if player draw, if player draw naman ano ano nga ba dito, if player AI, I forgot. I forgot what the. I thought there is another one of this na problema. But anyway, so what I'll do, I'll follow this one. I'll check first if it's draw. I know there's two na ganito, but kasi we have to make sure that they're not both snake eyes. I don't want like another check. Like if else if I don't want another check inside this if statement. So wala. I'll just do that. So if AI sum is equal to player sum, let me just baka di na makita. Draw else if player sum is equal to 2, meaning snake eyes times 3 bet, else if player sum is greater than AI times 2 bet, AI sum, sorry. And then I can choose, oh well, sige, we can put an else just so we can print out that it is a draw. It is that the player that the player lost. AI is greater than player sum. Okay, so draw, nothing happens. We can just put a count, draw, then and L. Times 3 bet. I forgot to minus here first. Gold minus equals bet. So in here, gold plus equals to bet times 3 times 3. So plus equals again is the same as gold is equal to gold plus bet times 3. They're the same. Times 2 this one, bet times 2, else count player lose. Ay sorry, yung draw. Yung draw nga pala we return. We return the gold. Player lost. And okay, let's put some proper count player snake eyes and L, and then count player wins and end line player lost, draw. Okay, so The, if the both players and AI roll the same roll, it's a draw. Game will only end if the player loses all his gold. So they should all be in one whole loop. While gold is greater than 0, so this is the whole game. Questions, clarification, none. Oh, someone's about to message. Some, yeah. Okay, I think. Whatever. Okay, so now we do the exercise 1, 2, 4. Bet. Create a function that asks the player for his bet and deducts the user's gold immediately. This function must accept a reference. Create two versions. So let's put a okay. Void gold. Ah, bet gold. So this is one way. The int and then reference for our gold and reference for our bet. Oops. The other one was int bet gold. This one is int reference gold. So you'll see it accepts both because they have different parameters. So why do you think I have a ampersand? Why do I have a reference of bet here? And then here, wala. What do you think will I do with this? Correct. I will return the bet here. This one, it will immediately set it. Right. So with this one, the bet gold, we can copy this. Oh, this whole thing. Let's cut it. Int bet is equal to 0. I will return bet. This one technically is this, but without that one, right? Pero if you want this to be much cleaner, if you want to use this, that's fine. You can do um, bet is equal to bet gold, and of this should be below this because it reads from top to bottom. So there, they're this one is just it sets the bet. This one has the returns the bet, but yeah. You could do this. You could do the other way. You could just copy this and then paste it here. See, I didn't mind that. So we put here bet gold, gold, bet. Next, dice roll. Create a function that rolls the two dices. This should work for both AI. They must use references as parameters. So we have roll die. I know it's not dices, right? It's a die. Die, dice, whatever. Uh, this is dice 1%, dice percent, ampersand, dice 2. And this is literally dice 1, but without the 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 int. Okay, so that's roll die. So we can put here roll die AI dice 1, AI dice 2, and then roll die AI player dice 1, player dice 2. Oops, roll die. So this one can just be 0, 0, 0, and 0. So there's that. What else? Payout. Payout, this will be the checking. Use reference to modify the player goal. So, void, payout. We have the what can we do here? Wait up. It values how much a player should win or lose, depending on the outcome of the dice roll. Okay, so this has the outcome na. AI dice sum. AI sum. Int player sum. Int bet. And int reference to the money goal. So this is basically this part. AI sum, bet, gold. Yep. Payout. AI sum, player sum, bet, gold. And then finally, play round. Create a play round function to remove duplicate code. This function will be continuously called. So this part, we will do void play round. We have int percent, percent int ampersand gold, which will hold all of this. Int is equal to 0. And then this one's gone. Play round. Gold. Okay. So if I want this clean, I will remove this. I will remove this. And that will be it. But I'll just keep this. So let's try it out. We didn't try it out at first. So let's see. I didn't even paste how much gold I have. Let's put this here. Count gold and let's put gold, gold, and then there, gold, 500. I lost 250. I'm losing everything. Why? Why am I losing everything? Hold on. To find out why, let's put how much we're is what is how much we're. I mean, what is our rules? So where's that? Count. AI rolled. AI dice 1. Let's put a space. AI dice 2. And then same thing here. Out. Player rolled. Just copy this. And this. Place that there. Place that there. Okay, let's find out why I'm losing. 200. 200. What am I rolling? And L, just so we can understand it more. And L, 200. Finally won. Okay. So of course, you can make this cleaner. You can have a system CLS or system pause. Up to you. Like here, we can have a system pause first, and then system CLS or clear screen 500, 200. Bro, I can't gotcha with this. Okay, so that's it. That's exercise one. Any questions or clarification? None. Okay. So if none, if you want, we can go straight to vectors. Okay. So before we go to vectors, does everyone know what an array is? Storage of data. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Like a group. Variable multiple values. Uh-huh. Okay, so something like that. Yeah. It's like it stores the values in a like a list or something like that. Right. And it keeps it there. What are the limitations? Or what limitations did you find with arrays? What do you think? What are the things that you can't do with an array? If you create an array, can you add another element to the array? Correct. The size is fixed, right? So you can't add nor you can't remove any element in the array. So you're stuck. If you created a array of four of size four, it will always be that. You cannot even um for the variable you cannot even make it to like another kind of array because you're stuck with that. You're always stuck with that with an array of four. Vectors is a solution for that. So vector is like an array, but you are able to do multiple functions such as removing, adding, um, getting the very first, or get find or going to well no, you can look at another array. Yeah, getting the very first or getting the very last. Or you can pop out yung first or pop out mo yung last. So you can do that. So vector is a better array, which right. So with an array, you cannot also move around the elements within. It's always like that, unless you manually code it where um, you replace you put it in a temporary variable and then you swap it out, right? So you can do that, sure. But We cannot directly do it. So vector. So a vector, it has everything in an array, but with more functionalities. You can add and remove. You can clear the array, literally make it to the size of 0. You can insert or remove at a specific index, and many more. So it has more functions. Initializing is just like well, okay, fine, I'll teach this. Vector T, where T, this is what you call a generic class. It can be anything. You can choose to make it an integer, you can make it to a class, you can make it to a struct, anything. That is T, a generic class. So T is a data type element in a vector. Similar to an array, there could be one data type. You cannot be multiple data types, it can only be one. So vector less than whatever data type you want, greater than, and then the um, name of the variable. So if you want to add a a a data to the vector, you would use pushback. So what it does is it will literally push back everything inside the array by one element, and then it will insert that new element in the very top index 0. Joke lang. Pushback. Baliktad. There's another one. Pushback, it goes to the end pala. My bad, my bad. It goes to the end of the uh, vector. Alright. So, uh, yeah. So how it looks like, let's pick a new one here. A new project. Vectors. Vector demo. So we have to include vector and then using namespace std. So we have, let's say, a vector of int. Um, int vector. So you see that if we try to say how try to check how big it is, int vector. Oh, sorry, I haven't done this yet. Vector dot size. You will see that it has a size of 0. If we do int vector dot pushback, let's say 1. We shall now have a size of 1, and then if you want to access it, well, this one I have to teach pa. It's ano, there, and right, 1 1. If I put more here, let's say 1 2 3 4 5, 2 3 4 5, let's get the fifth. Nope, 0 1 2 3 4, the fourth element, the fifth element, the fourth element, the element at index 4. Technically it's not fourth element. Okay, so 5. We try to get the element at index 2, 3, 0 1 2. Okay, so pushback, that's how you add to the vector. To access the element, you can use just like an array where you use bracket and then put in the number. Or you can also use at. They're both the same thing. So if we do vector 2 or maybe at 2, we should still get 3. Then if you want to print out, let's say um the whole list in the whole vector, we can iterate through it using a for loop. So since we know the size of it, because the size can always change, right? Since we know the size, we can put it here where I is less than number size, then print it out. So we can have like a for int I is equal to 0, I less than int vector dot size I plus plus. Let us print out the element at index I. We should now have 0, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Questions, clarifications about this so far? So if you don't want to use at, you can always use again the brackets at I. Not at I, bracket I. So same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, there's also another for loop for each. Oops. Int value in, oh wait, is it for each? In int vector. No, it's not for each. It's for, sorry, that was a no. That was a C# code, right? There's also a for loop, but this one it doesn't use the size. It will iterate through everything. And instead of um, getting the index, we can just put value here. But this is just a little bit advanced if you don't know a for loop. So yeah, same thing. Questions? Questions? Clarification about this one? None? Okay. Removing. So if you want to remove an element in a vector, you have to use erase and numbers dot begin. So this part, medyo weird, but it's kailangan. Because erase uses like a iterator. It needs to start somewhere. It doesn't know uh yung from like just 0, 1, 2, 3. Hindi niya magets yun eh. Kailangan niya gamitin yung numbers that begin. So this he will know this is the very start. Numbers that begin. And then if you want to remove a certain index, you just add that number. So in this case, it starts at 0. To remove at index 2, we just plus 2. So if you try, let's say I want to remove, well, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's remove 4. It is at index 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. So let's go int vector. Sorry. Int vector dot erase. Int vector dot begin plus 0, 1, 2, 3. With that, it should erase 4 because that is at index 3. There, 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, so it was 5. Yung start is pinak 5 because at the very start, there were 5, but I erased 1. That's why apat na lang yan dito. Questions? Clarification? None? Sure? No questions here? Gets nyo? Okay, so always pass vectors as a reference. So we do this because it doesn't really affect um, the vector itself. So it's fine to pass it as a reference. So this ensures that we're working on the same vector to referencing. Because if you accidentally do not put this, and let's say you try to adjust something in the inside a function, wherever that vector came from is not um, will not change, right? It's just like a no, just like we're not passing by reference. If you don't pass it by reference, if you change a number in here in the function, it doesn't it doesn't actually change the actual value. But if you use this, ayun, at least you are at least sure ka whatever you changes here will also change the original. Okay, so this one, if you're not allowed to call it function with this function. Okay, if you're not gonna mutate or change anything in the vector, you can put const. Technically, this is for anything naman. If you're gonna use a certain parameter that you're not gonna change or anything, you can put const so that it doesn't change. Unless you plan to change, like let's say I created a void tests int value int value to. If let's say I wanted to just change it here for a certain reason, sure, well, don't put const. But for this one, if I don't want to change the value, I put const. You'll see if I try to do value is equal to 10, it will say I cannot because it is a constant. All right. Questions about this one? Const or constant? None. Okay. So yeah, same thing. Don't put const if you don't want to mutate a vector. Uh, yeah. Summary: use const reference if you reference always provide memory optimization. Yes. So again, reference it's just a an address. That's why it will only be 4 bytes. It's only a memory address. So optimization is useful for larger data types like vector. So a const reference gives you memory optimization, read-only access, while reference without const gives you memory optimization and read-write access. So this applies to all references. Okay. So again, if you don't plan to change the value, put const. If you will save much more memory if you use reference because it's only 4 bytes. And then if you use reference but you don't want to change the value at all, you can put const so that you're sure that it doesn't change at all within the function. All right. So it saves bytes, which is kind of small, but if you really want to optimize, then this is important. Const and reference. Questions, clarifications, all good? Okay pa kayo? Gets nyo naman? Right. So yeah, just to show what else, let's put a for loop. Let's put 10 numbers into the int vector. Int vector dot pushback Rand percent and modulo 1000. Oops, modulo 1000. Let's put the SRAM. So yeah, if I want to, let's say, int vector. If I want to erase, I can do that. If I want to insert specifically in a certain element, I could use insert. So let me just put a print here. Wait, print. Let's use vector int ampersand vector. Oh, 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 no. Vector int vec. Let's make put the ampersand memory position const because I don't want to change anything. Let's print out the whole thing. Vec, vec. Okay, so that's me printing it out. So in here, let's say print int vector. Right? So this is the whole thing. Now, if I put an insert at the second index, I need, of course, int vector begin plus at the second index. What number do I want? Let's say 100. Let's make it unique. 1, 2, 3. If I try to print it here, we should now have 1, 2, 3, 1, 0, 1, 2. Ah, it inserts it after the index. So if I have a 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 after. Doesn't insert it on the index stated mismo, but right after. But you can always have like a, no, you can always create a function para sabihin mo if it's 4, dapat sa 3. If it's a 5, dapat sa 4 para doon siya mismo. So for me, it inserts on the index. Ah, sorry. Is it because yeah. I think it was because of that. 4, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, my bad. Because I had the print. Yeah. Not my fault. So I had had a count, see out here. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or if I want at the second 0, 1, 2. Okay, so now it's at the second. So that's insert. What else do we have? Int vector in assign. There should be pop here somewhere. Pop, pop back. Pop back will remove the last part, the last um value. Now I just want, oh wait, sorry, void. So if we try to check here, let's put a line just so we can separate it. So This 302 was the last one. Since we used pop back here, 302 is now gone. That's pop back. So if you have something like a a queue, something like queue or something like that, like you want to start from the end until you keep on queuing until you reach to the very last, right? You can use pop back. That's one way to use it. Again, capacity clear. Look what happens if I use clear. Literally does not print anything because I cleared out the whole vector. So that's clear. You have swap. Swap. What does swap do? Swap. You know what? I actually haven't used swap at all. So we don't have to use that. Reserve. Never used reserve before. R begin, R end. Yeah, mostly I just get the front to be useful. If I want to get what is the very start, see out here. This will get me the very start of the vector, which is 946. Right, that's the very start. There's a front. Is there a back? There is a back. This will also get me the very last one. 846. Okay. Yeah. So that's basically vector. It's a very useful um, class in C++. You can do all of these, which a normal array can't. Oh, sorry. That's C sharp. All right. This one barely has anything. Okay. So yeah, that's vector. Any questions or clarification? None. All right. If none, so you guys have an exercise about this. So this exercise is fairly simple. Create a function which fills an inventory of 10 random items that can be duplicated. These random items can be these: red potion, elixir, empty bottle, or blue potion. So this function must return a vector of string. So a while ago you only saw int, but of course you can create a vector of string. String vector. Okay, you can do that. So it should contain 10 random items of these. So it could be red potion, elixir, red potion, empty bottle, and it can be duplicated. So that is the first part. The second, you have to display it. So you're simply just gonna print out the uh, items in the inventory. So this function does not need write access to the vector. Okay, so it will just print it out. Next, you're gonna create a function where it counts the number of instances in it in the vector. So if you have, let's say, 2 red potions, 3 elixirs, 4 empty bottles, and a blue potion, it should count it out here. It will print out that the red potion has 3, elixir has 2, empty bottle has 4, blue potion as 1. So it should print it out. Wait lang ah. Pass this one. Joke, count. Okay, function which counts. No. Yeah, my bad. This is not print. This is, you're gonna create a function that has the name of the item and the vector. So this is not, of course, this is not the right vector. And oops, it should return an int. So it will literally count how many instances of this item is in vector. Right? It returned an integer, which represents the count. Finally, remove item. So create a function which removes a specific item, pass the inventory to this function, make sure the reference allows read and write access to the vector. So if I put not remove item. If I put another one here, item name and vector string vector. If while iterating through this, I find an item name, I remove it, and that's it. I don't remove everything. I just remove one instance of it inside here. Of course, if I didn't find any instances of it in here, nothing should happen. Okay? Questions? Clarification? Malaro naman with this exercise. Because usually need to input themselves in the program, which not really stated here, but if you want, you can have the user input. So, hindi naman required. Hindi siya nagsabi na gumawa ka ng game eh. So, hindi siya required. Okay? So, you don't have naman. You don't have to naman. Any other questions? Questions or any clarification? None? Okay. So, this exercise, you do it again, it will be due on next week, 6 p.m. Okay, you have that amount of time. Of course, the due date is tomorrow, but the end of this submission is 28. So you can submit anytime between 21 to 28. Oh, wait. Well, sorry. Yeah, 21 to 28. Um, the earlier you submit, the higher you get in your functionality. The later you send it, the lower your functionality score will be. All right. So that's for next week. Tapos, next week, we will have a quiz on Emperor card. So on the day, so tomorrow, this will start at 6, to mind this, we will start at 6 p.m. tomorrow at 6 p.m. But this will end on Thursday, 6 p.m. 24 hours. I believe that's enough time, right? Is it? Should. Uh, yeah. 29. Let me just change this. 29. Okay, so this next week. Next week, we have a quiz. It's the Emperor card. I think I, I'll let you know also next week kung 29. I have to double check on my faculty if this is enough time. But yeah, um, isipin na lang it's only one day. You're given only one day to do this next week. All right, so study references and vectors. You should have no problem with Emperor card. All right, questions, clarifications, none. All right, so this again will be posted under content class recordings. So it'll be posted here. If you want to watch it, you can watch it. Uh, if you have any questions, again, you can just message me or message in the group. I don't mind. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. And better yet, I want you guys to ask questions so that you understand this more. Okay, so yeah. I see someone typing. What are your office hours? Message me anytime during the week. Try not. Wag lang sana weekend. You can always chat. You can chat me at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I will most probably reply. Maybe 2 a.m. I'll reply. 3 might be asleep. You can message me. Then I'll reply when I'm able to reply. Will I upload the recording? Yeah, yeah. I'll upload it right away. By tonight, it should be here. Actually, give me a few minutes and then I'll upload it na. Okay? Any more questions? Does the first function have to return? No, no, no. You're gonna, no. Process type. Not required. You can choose not to also. Ikaw, bahala. Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hindi naman siya, ano eh, hindi naman siya nakaka-dictate if kailangan reference or not. So, ikaw. Any more? None? All good na? Sige. So, siguro by mga 8 or 8:15, I'll upload this recording for you to watch. Okay? So, yeah, that's it for today. You guys can go ahead and enjoy your night. Bye.
Sige po, thank you. Also, one more thing po.